What's up, guys? This is going to be another episode of Wildstar class highlights. I don't know what I called these. It's been a long time since we've done one. The Christmas holidays kind of threw a whole monkey wrench in their schedule when they were doing these. It was supposed to be 6 weeks, 6 classes, but it turned out to be 2.5 months, 6 classes, just because of the way the Christmas holidays and Thanksgiving kind of messed up everything. But yeah, here we are, class highlights. I know this particular class highlights isn't probably as exciting for you guys because you've seen so much Stalker footage from me and from other streamers and YouTubers as well. But there's still some good information. I tried to cut out all the stuff that was redundant or stuff that you guys probably already knew, being more hardcore players. I will link the entire live stream down below if you want to watch that. But this is just all the stuff that I thought was either entertaining or really useful to know. So yeah. Here it is. Also, be sure to check out my Stalker PvP video. That's the footage you're looking at right here. It's from my first impressions of the Stalker. That was post-patch to what we're playing at the moment. So be sure to check. It's still relevant. So be sure to go check that out. I'll put an annotation to that right now. And I'll see you guys next time.
So why don't you walk us through what you got on your bar?
Okay, yeah, so this is my solo DPS build. This one focuses more on single target. It's very burst oriented. So the first ability we got on the bar is Shred. This is your basic attack. Hits 3 times. The next attack is Impale. This is a single target attack that hits the closest target within your telegraph. And it'll deal more damage from behind or in stealth. Stagger is your stun, so it hits 4 times and then stuns on the first hit. This helps you to use your positional attacks, so it lets you get behind and whatnot fairly easy. Ruin is an AoE dot that deals instant damage. I'm sorry, it's an AoE that deals instant damage and then applies a dot. Analyze Weakness marks foes, and then when you on your next hit, it will consume the mark and deal additional damage. So this allows for huge burst potential from stealth when comboed with like Impale.
Hey Jade, move your microphone a little bit closer.
Oh, sorry, guys. I want to be breathing into it. There we go. All right. So there was. So where were we? We were on Analyze Weakness. So the next ability is Punish. Punish can be activated after you crit. So anytime you crit, you can then use Punish, and this will regen suit power. The next ability is Razor Disc. This is a line AE ranged ability that can be used to deal damage and then reduce your target's armor. So that'll give you a little bit more damage output. And then the final ability is on my bar is Clone. This creates a copy of yourself, and it actually has your name, health bar, copies your armor. This can be used to full enemies in PvP, but it will also deal damage, stun enemies who are casting telegraphs. So he's pretty useful.
It'll act like a normal player,
yeah,
really.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. It mimics a lot of the Stalker abilities, so he's a lot of fun to use.
Awesome. So why don't you go ahead and dive right into attacking some
Sure.
things. I'm going to have Hugh. Can you explain a little bit about the Stalker innates and the options that you have?
Sure. So Jade talked about all those abilities. The Stalker has an innate that's a little bit different than all the other class innates. His innate is Stealth. This is going to let you... It works how it does in other games where other players can't see you. It works a little bit differently in Wildstar, though. When you are stealthed, other players are unable to target you. Excuse me. Another thing is that if you are in stealth, you can actually use it, or if you're not in stealth, I'll start over. If you use stealth to start a fight, depending on what stance you're in, you're going to get some kind of a bonus. And so he's in his assault stance right now, which means that when he attacks from stealth, he's going to get a critical strike every time. He's not going to miss, so it guarantees that crit.
And that ties in perfectly with his ability that he can only use
Yeah,
once
that works
he's
really
critted.
well with Punish, which activates and he's able to use to get some suit power back. Besides that, you can actually use stealth in combat, and if you do, it triggers a 20-second cooldown, but while you're in combat, you have stealth, and you get those bonuses again. So you could open up from stealth, get that crit bonus, use stealth again in the middle of combat, get a second crit bonus. And besides the innate, I wanted to talk about the resource a little bit. The Stalker has suit power. This is something that starts full when you get into combat, and that is to reinforce the theme of the Stalker, where they have this high capacity for burst damage, which really the Spell Singer is the only other character that can do that sort of upfront burst. Anyway, some of your abilities are limited by suit power, such as Impale, which is number 2 ability. If Jade wanted to be destroying these targets, he could actually use number 2 multiple times to open up a fight because it's not restricted by a cooldown.
It's purely based on how much suit power you have.
Yeah, and there's no real way of getting suit power back consistently as a Stalker. It comes back over time, and then there's some abilities like that Punish, which will give you a little bit back, and then there's other abilities that you can put on your bar. It's called Preparation. It's a channeled ability, and you can use this ability in Stealth to get suit power back, but you really have to focus on generating that suit power back. It's not like a warrior where you're building your resource by just using your basic attack in combat.
Right. So Jade, can you explain real quick how you're doing that initial burst? Like, what abilities are you using in a row? Because I'm noticing when you pull something, you're taking it down to below half instantly.
Yeah, so like he was mentioning, the innate allows for an auto hit and crit when you're in lethal stance. So I'm comboing that with Impale from behind.
Plus Analyze Weakness.
Plus Analyze Weakness, so you load that up.
Right.
And then you go ahead and hit them. That's about half their health right there. And then you can actually pop into Stealth again and get another Impale off and get another auto crit.
Very
so that's
nice.
really nice.
Awesome.
That's gonna cost a lot of your suit power, so it's super heavy burst. So after that, you're gonna have to figure out what you're gonna do after that if it doesn't get your target.
Okay.
And Jade's really tearing through these creatures, but the thing is that he's a little bit higher level than them. He also has the optimal gear, let's say, for this level, which not everybody might have.
Yeah, we actually have Jade in gear because we're gonna run a dungeon in a second, so we're not gonna. So he's a little over prepared for this area specifically. Let's actually grab a question off the stream because we got a ton of questions. Remember, if you want to ask a question, you can type in the Twitch chat Q:your question. You don't need to repeat your question a million times. Just doing that once will actually get it picked up by our bot that's tracking all the questions. So just ask it once and it'll be added to our queue, and we'll sort through those questions. So let's toss up this first question here. So someone from the Twitch chat wants to know, will Stalkers struggle to stay in stealth? Most moves have a big AoE, so doesn't that make it hard for Stalkers to not to get caught in that damage?
So it depends. When you're in PvE, you're going to be able to easily get up on top of creatures from stealth because they're not. There's some creatures that do their telegraphs when nothing else is happening, but for most of the time, you're going to be able to avoid those. When you're in PvE, there's definitely going to be a lot of AoE attacks going on, so you're going to have to pay attention to those areas. You can see where that damage is going, so you can kind of skirt the sides of the battle to get in. But then there's also an amp that you can unlock, which will allow it so that if you take damage when you're in stealth, you're not actually broken out of stealth.
And you don't break out until you do damage, basically. Yeah, so that's a very powerful amp we've seen in PvP. And we'll probably end up seeing that later during the matches between Chad and Frost.
We probably will.
Let's grab the next question, too. So, Nearview on Twitch wants to know, what constitutes behind the target? Can you flank from the sides and still get that bonus?
We'll have Jade actually demonstrate maybe how far to the side. It's a pretty lenient side to the back, but you definitely have to be somewhat behind the target to hit them. So he's going to get over to one of these creatures, and I don't know if he'll be able to make it through that shield.
So if
about there.
Yeah, if you're about right here, about 180, I would say, behind the target, you'll be able to. I'm not actually able to hit this guy because the quest.
He's in that shield, yeah.
Yeah. But if you're about right here, that will give you the stealth bonus as well.
Okay. As far as this player knows, relative position of the enemy changes the chance to be detected while in stealth. So can you talk a little bit about enemy detection? Are there any ways to know whether an opponent can see you or not, or whether you're in their possible zone of awareness?
So the zone of awareness is pretty much the same for all creatures and players, so it's something that you'll have to learn. We don't actually draw any sort of telegraph around the creature to show that stealth awareness. Once a creature becomes aware of you, you will see that you get an icon over the head of the creature, and so you're aware that so you know that they are aware of you.
Is it? I'm gonna ask. I'm interested in the more technical side of it. So is it that once you're in their zone, they have a chance to detect you? Does it check every couple seconds? Like, how does that really work?
It's all based off of level, and that's the big thing. Is it's based off of level. Then if they have any bonuses to being able to detect stealth characters, there are some amps that you can get that increase your stealth detection.
So if you're a much higher level, they're probably not going to detect you at all.
But it's not actually a roll. It's a straight up call. So basically, if depending on what your detection awareness level is, if a creature comes within, let's say, 10 meters, for example, of you, if there is, you will always detect creatures at 10 meters. It's not like they will come into that range and there's not like a 50% chance that you will.
It's if they're close enough, they'll be detected.
Yeah.
What answers does the Stalker bring to the table over the classes that are more adept at kiting opponents?
So the Stalker has a couple of different ways to move around the battlefield. They have Pounce, which leaps them forward. It also snares and roots, depending on what tier of the ability it is. They have Pounce, which is the one that leaps them backwards. You can actually use that. You can you could turn your character, leap backwards to try to gain some forward ground.
Right.
So it's a little bit more advanced of a maneuver. You have something called collapse, which will pull in nearby enemies, which you jump on, which Jade was, I believe he is going to show off in a second here. You also have snares, stuns. You have a big variety of tools at your disposal.
Awesome.
You can also there's also an amp that you can get that makes it so that you can no longer be dazed. So you're able to pretty much sprint around in combat as much as you want, whereas range classes never get something
because
like
normally
that.
sprinting, if you get hit while you sprint, you're dazed. You
Yeah,
take,
which
what
means
is it, half
you're slowed by 50%, and you also lose all your endurance.
Yeah, wow, that's really powerful for a Stalker, for sure. So are you ready to show off your build, Jade?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to show off the tank build. Don't run in. Let's pull up the build for the tank, and then we'll walk through what you have on your bar now, because you've switched over to pure support, basically.
Yes.
And so go ahead and walk through.
Okay, we're all set. Okay, so Whiplash is the basic attack. This generates 25% extra threat. Nano Field can be used twice in a row within 4 seconds. The first hit will actually siphon life from all nearby enemies. It'll transfer 25% of life. And then you can actually hit it again to collapse the field for a big burst of damage.
This is a really good ability for sustain.
Yeah, it's great for sustain. I love it as a tank. Again, we have Stagger, which is a stun. It's always nice to bring CC to the table, especially in dungeons with interrupt armor. Collapse, great ability. It pulls in all enemies within 12 meters, so that's really nice to get enemies focused on attacking you.
That's the one that you were just talking about here, right?
We can, which is really nice. It actually combos really well with False Retreat, which throws you back about 8 meters, and then it can be used again to put you back into that position, and it will knock down any enemies in there. So additional CC, and a very useful, it's like an extra dodge almost, where you can actually get out of a telegraph. Reaver is your taunt. Taunts are really great in our game because it actually reduces the damage that your allies take and focuses things to attack you, so that's really nice to have. Steadfast is a proc ability that increases your deflect chance by 60%. So anytime you deflect, you can then use Steadfast again, and it will deflect the next attack made against you. Excuse me. And then Stim Drone adds a little bit of health to you, and it heals you and then increases your health pool, and you can use that up to 2 times in a row. So this is really nice if the healer's having trouble healing you. You can go ahead and add that to your arsenal.
Yeah, because it has those ability charges, you're able to gauge, oh, do I need a little bit of healing, do I need a lot of healing, and you can burn through those charges all at one time if you need a big burst.
Great.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the differences between the Stalker Tank versus the other classes. For one, it's the innate that the Stalker Tank has. It is stealth again, but when you attack from stealth, you actually get a bonus that increases your damage mitigation for a couple of seconds. So it opens up the attack. You don't take as much damage right at the start of the fight. And then also, like I was saying before, you're able to use your innate again in combat. So at different points in the fight, you're able to use your stealth and increase your damage mitigation for a short time. Also, we made some changes to how the Stalker stance works for defense. It actually increases your mitigation a little bit on top of increasing your deflect chance. So for players that are worried that deflect tanking is too spiky, that it's not something that's really reliable in certain boss encounters, we've tried to mitigate that a bit by increasing that damage resistance.
Awesome. One thing I want to point out here, because I'm sure, I don't know if anyone in chat's noticed, but we've got weird nameplates going on today. We've actually installed a user-created add-on today to show off some of the stuff that we got going on. This was a nameplate add-on that was created by one of our testers, who goes by Nask on the forums. This is called BG Plates. I think that's the name of his character. But these nameplates, if you look, you can see that there's a health bar. Over the players, there's a shield bar on top of the health bar. There's a cast bar under it. And this is all, anyone can make these sorts of things because of our UI being completely open. They can modify our nameplate code directly if they wanted to, and use it to just, pick and choose what features you want, what you like and what you don't. We've already seen, I think there's maybe 3 other nameplate add-ons on the forums right now. It's really down to personal preference, but we want to make sure that everybody's got the tools to build these things
and
however
it's awesome
they
to
want.
already have that in closed beta.
And we also see, Chris Lynch, who will be on a little bit later, Chris even looks at one of the damage meters that one of our players has made. I think Draftomatic's the one who made it. That he's actually gone and asked Draftomatic to make some updates to the add-on so we can help track damage better. And it's really great to have that community already there during beta, and we're really excited to see it grow post-launch. Although that Phantom seems to be just chilling over there. And Chad is typing in chat, which he tends to do.
Oh no.
Which means that he just got destroyed.
Oh my goodness!
All right,
my goodness! No,
I'm gonna have to call an audible here.
Do not call an audible. I have the skills to understand that 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are attacks.
I'm gonna let you have the point on this. So first up, are there going to be any world PvP objectives in the contested zones in the game for launch?
So probably not for launch.
Okay.
What we'd like to do is we'd like to take a look at and see where people like to fight. For example, we were doing heat maps for beta environment, and we found that a lot of people like to fight in this area around the Lot Village in Whitevale. So we want to continue to review the kind of spaces that they're playing in, and then enhance those spaces accordingly.
And so Whitevale's one. Are there any other major zones that we've seen?
We've had some activity in Farside, but now
Okay.
we're just waiting for the next level cap increase for beta.
To see what happens, yeah. So no objectives for launch, but we're definitely keeping an eye out and seeing if maybe that's something we'll add in where we want to incentivize
Absolutely.
it. Let's just grab the next question too. I love this question.
Oh, I do too.
So this person is more of a PvP player, so they want to know, could they level up exclusively from PvP?
So the answer is that after level 6, you can. We do want to get you through our ArcShip tutorial experience and that first starter zone. But once you hit level 6, you can queue up for our first battleground, which is Welatiki Temple. Anything that you do in there, objective captures, winning, participation for actually completing it, killing other players in that match, will grant you experience, so you can level up.
And how's the experience in a battleground related to just experience through questing?
We're trying to make it roughly equivalent. So if you want to spend quality time in PvE, that same amount of quality time in PvP should get you about the same amount of experience.
And you guys, I've seen you guys adjust that throughout beta to make sure that if people are questing at a certain speed, that the battleground gets updated to have that same amount.
We're continuing to adjust it based on what we see in PvE, and also versus the match times that we're finding in beta. So I've been doing a lot of metrics digging to try to make sure that that's tuned appropriately.
Great.
They're also really popular on the live stream, the PvP.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's everywhere.
I've been having fun watching.
Yeah, we've got, if you guys haven't seen any yet, we've, early in December, we lifted a press embargo, which allowed some members of the press and some streamers to actually stream the game from level 1 to 15. And because that first battleground is available at level 6, a lot of people have been streaming that battleground. So if you want to get an early look at some of the battlegrounds, that would be a great place to do it. We'll also, like I said, we'll be doing a PvP-focused stream. Well, I guess I can't say when, but in the future, we'll be doing it, and so we'll definitely show off some battlegrounds. There will definitely be a time where we're going to run through war plots, because that's a big thing everybody wants to know more about.
I have a question. Does that count for 2 points on that one? Because I destroyed it.
That does count. That does count as 2 points.
It's now 3-0.
It's now 3-0. Yes.
Okay. Just want to throw that out there.
So you think we should drop this down to 2v2? Or 2 to 2?
Absolutely. I mean,
let's drop the scoreboard down to 2 to 2.
Come on. Have you seen this keyboard?
Let's go down to 2 and 2. Frost is freaking out. You can see him on the stream right now. First of all, check out those sweet claws.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got really excited about those.
So if we put these two teams together, I think they're pretty evenly matched. I mean, you got the Terrabats, we got Pappy.
So here we are in the arena. This is called the Slaughter Dome.
Welcome to the Slaughter Dome.
Frost, go ahead and look down into the arena. Well, I guess you can start fighting too.
Yep.
You want to talk a little bit about the features in the map?
Sure. Have we talked about the death pool?
We talked about the death pool, yes. So you can see in the bottom right corner, each team starts with 6 lives.
So a couple strategies we're probably going to see here, just having watched a lot of these matches, is they're probably going to try to go after the healers first.
They just melted the Esper.
Oh man,
he just went down. He went down instantly.
I didn't even see that. That was
so fast. I wasn't even sure it happened.
Frost's team is just dominating right now.
Oh my god!
One of the nice things about our respawn system is, hey, they've lost this first round, or they're not really losing. I see Hughes back down there. You can make intelligent decisions about, hey, I'm not going to respawn until the rest of my team is ready, so we can go in full force and not just go out there.
Because if you just keep going down one at a time, they're just going to keep destroying
3v1 all the time. So you might want to save some of those lives sometimes.
Yeah. So immediately they've lost 3 lives. Frost's team is doing just fine.
Man. I did not expect this.
This has been much closer in our practice matches, so I wonder if the class designers kind of saved up some secret strategies, because they can communicate with each other in the other room.
I heard Jen and Jade actually had a secret communication.
I heard there were some codes going on.
Yeah, they're kind of little secret messages on how to target and who to target. Some knocking on the table and stuff.
I think there were some bird calls when it's time to switch up or something like that.
So Jade is actually down.
Jade's there we go. The
Frost
first
team.
live loss.
Yep.
Frost, how you doing on healing? You can't talk, you seem to be doing all right.
Frost
Chad,
he's doing a pretty good job. He's about down to half mana right now. And Jin just went down as well.
Jin just went down.
The other team is catching back up. It sounds like they're finally getting organized and strategizing.
Definitely. I think they weren't ready for that initial, whatever the initial strategy was here of targeting Hugh, it worked.
Yeah.
And Frost slips into the void.
Kind of drops some targets that way. So it looks like Frost team is regrouping right here.
But he just went down.
But Hugh is hiding in the background, just healing.
So
it looks like we're about to be even again. It's gonna be a 3 lives left on each team. So let's see how the health values on Frost team is pretty good right now, and it looks like they.
And now they just kind of have a break because they took down the entire team.
Man.
So everybody's healing up to full, getting ready, waiting for them to drop in.
Yep.
And now Team Pappy is down to, I believe, 1 life left.
I think so.
Oh, they actually. Looks like we had a problem. Someone crashed. So we're down to a 3v2.
Oh.
But the last time we saw this happen, I was gonna say the last time we saw this happen, the 2-man team actually won.
And it's Hugh that dropped out. So
Hugh dropped out, so that's
healer.
I think we need to redo this.
We may need to.
I'd say let's do it.
Let's try this again. Let's keep going though.
Yeah, yeah.
So they've got no respawns left.
Yeah, one of the cool things at the end of the match that can happen here is if you have 1 respawn left and 2 people die, you kind of have to make that intelligent decision. Do I want to use that last life respawn, or that last respawn, or do I want to let my teammate, who might be better suited to whatever situation's happening on the danger?
Man, they just wrecked him.
Man.
And so now they're just gonna have to stand there and take it.
All by himself on the engineer.
It's not gonna go anywhere. Unfortunately, that is the end of the match. So Team Frost won.